Good afternoon / evening, fifth graders. I am here to help you out with some long division if you are having a hard time with your homework tonight, or if you could just use a little refresher on what we talked about in class today. Now, the first problem that we're going to be doing together is 691 divided by 3. Now, we set up this problem in our sideways L where we put 691 on the inside and 3 on the outside. In this problem, 691 is the dividend and 3 is the divisor. We're trying to come up with the quotient on the top. Following the order, divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down, and all the way back to the top. Getting started with this problem, we look and say, how many times does 3 fit into 6? Or how many groups of 3 can fit into 6? And I know that 2 do, because 2 times 3 equals 6. Now, going down to my multiplying stage, I multiply my 2 and my 3 together to equal 6. Next, I subtract 6 from 6, which is 0, and I bring down my 9. I cannot stress how important it is to bring down and draw the arrow going down, because this will help you eliminate the 9 when you need to bring down your next number. Looking at 9, we now say, how many times does 3 go into 9? I know that 3 times 3 equals 9, so my 3 goes up. And now I multiply 3 times 3. I'll multiply my answer by my divisor. I say 3 times 3 equals 9. I subtract my 9, following the next step on my plan going down, and finally I need to bring down my 1. Now that I have 1 left, I say, how many times does 3 fit into 1? The correct answer is 0. Bringing my 0 back up to the top, I would write my 0 in, and I would finish off my steps. I would say, what is 0 times 3? It is 0. I subtract 0, and I'm left with 1, which is my remainder. So my final answer is 230, remainder 1. If this makes complete sense to you, feel free to press pause on the video. You do not need to watch any longer. However, if you'd like to watch another problem, stay tuned as one more is on its way. Next up, we're going to take a look at the third problem on the second line. Now, there are 2 ways to write this problem. We could either write it as written on the page as 849 divided by 5, or we could write it 849 divided by 5. These are the same ways. It tells us the same information. As for right now, we are not going to use this way, but we are going to use our long division algorithm. Taking a look at this problem, I first look and say, how many times does 5 fit into 8? Now, I'm going to write this on the side here so we can still follow our pattern that we did in the last problem as well. Going back to how many times does 5 go into 8? I know that 5 times 1 is 5, and that 5 times 2 is 10. Well, I went over my 8 that was allowed, so I can only go with 1. I write my 1 up top, and now I multiply. I follow my next step, and I multiply my 1 times my 5. When I multiply these 2 numbers, I come up with 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Next up, I subtract, which equals 3. Following my pattern, I need to bring down, as you can see right here, I need to bring down my next number, bring down my 4, and I start the process all over again. I'm back to my division. Looking at this division problem, I say, how many times does 5 fit into 34? What can I do times 5 that will get me close to 34 without going over? I know that 5 times 6 is 30, and 5 times 7 is 35. Well, 5 times 7 is 35, so I can't use that because I went over. So I need to go 5 times 6. My 6 goes up top, and now I multiply. 6 times my 5, which is 30. I subtract my 30, and I'm left with 4. I bring down my 9, I have 49. What do you know? We're all the way back to the top, and now we divide. How many times does 5 go into 49? Well, I know 5 times 10 is 50. That's an easy one for me. But unfortunately, I would go over by 1. So I think 5 times 9 is 45. I write my 9 up top, and now I multiply my 9 and my 5 together, following the step, to equal 45. I subtract my 45, and I'm left with 4 at the end. Because there are no numbers on this side to bring down, which would be my next step, I know that my 4 is my remainder. So my final answer is 169 remainder 4. That is my answer. Now, a good way to check this, if you were uncertain if your answer was correct, is to multiply 149 times 5 and then add on whatever your remainder is. If you did this on the side, I'll actually do that just for kicks and giggles. I will multiply 169 times my 5. 5 times 9 is 45. Carry my 4. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 4, 34. And then finally, 5 times 1 is 5, plus my 3 is 8. When I add on my remainder, which is right here, I add on my 4, and when I add these together, I see that I have 849, which matches this number up top here. Okay? This is just one way that you could check your answer to see if you're correct. Now, we did 3 problems in class together. Actually, we did 4, and I just did 2 more on this video for you. If you still have any questions, make sure that you try your very, very best to give your best attempt. However, I'd love to take questions tomorrow. If you have any detailed questions that you think you could ask me, feel free to email me. You know my email, kwehner@kcsa.org. Have a great night, guys. I love you all. See you tomorrow. And don't forget, Fancy Friday. Bye-bye.